Basketball fans, welcome to a deep analysis of the Nairobi City Thunder. So I've talked about the Nairobi City Thunder for quite some time now, and in this one it's going to be different because I will not only give my opinion on what I think about the Nairobi City Thunder, but also I will put in some clips that you might have missed, especially with their run in BAL Season 5 and BAL Season 6. The Elite 16s have been great, and to be honest, it's about time I, went ahead and talked about them in depth. So this is going to be a long video, so I want to prep you early, and also just give you a brief backstory on the Nairobi City Thunder. Is the Nairobi City Thunder, they are a premier team in Kenyan basketball. They came to prominence in 2023 when Twende acquired them, and they did their rebrand, and ever since they have been on top of Kenyan basketball for years. And they are the first ever team to participate in the Basketball Africa League, and both for Season 5 and Season 6, which concluded this year. And looking at their trajectory, yes, they have had their ups and downs. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and talk about them. And I'm going to start off with them having a very good regular season, and they're able to get the opportunity to participate in the first round of the games of the Road to BAL before the Elite 16. So without out of the way, let's just get into it. So to start, the Nairobi City Thunder were able to go ahead and have a dominant regular season in the 2023-2024 season. They were able to go ahead and dominate to the point where they were able to grab a ticket to the Road to BAL. That was in 2024. And prior to, the Road to BAL, the Nairobi City Thunder were able to do some major signings, and they were able to go ahead and shell out their checkbook that they had and bring in all the big name players. We saw Talongo was brought in, Albert Odero, Derek Ogechi, Eugene Adera. I mean, they brought in a lot of people on the roster, and that time they had Will Davis in there. So in this first clip, you're going to see that, and we're going to move forward, and I'll also just go ahead and give my opinions on what I thought at the time and also what I think now as a retrospect.
As a player, I feel like everything is working out perfectly. I feel like we're being put in the right spaces to do our best. So I'm really confident that we're going to do our very best.
I feel like we've prepared very well. I feel like we've got a chance to see what each player can do. We've had conversations outside the court about everybody's role and expectations. So I feel like we've prepared very well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we have high expectations. I think we'd really like to win all of our games when we go to Tanzania, and feel like we have the talent to do that. I think guys are committed for that, and so obviously in basketball anything can happen, and we know there's some other good teams there, but we feel like we've got a good chance to win all our games.
So this was the mentality heading into the first round of the games. And to be honest, the Nairobi City Thunder were the strongest team. They were at their peak at this point, and looking at how they were going about preparing, could see there was a lot of seriousness, especially in camp, and there are a lot of expectations of the Thunder, because looking at the signings that they made and looking at how dominant they had over a regular season, you could see all signs pointed to the Nairobi City Thunder making it past the Elite 16. Even prior to even this contest, I even had the opinion and even had the premise that the Nairobi City Thunder were a team that were built for BAL, and the biggest challenge was seeing a Kenyan team make it past the Elite 16. So they had a very good mentality at that, and this is something that I picked up on and I was keen to follow through. And looking at how they were able to dominate in the first round, you could see clearly the games that they were looking forward to were the Elite 16, and yeah, boy, were they were they good. I mean, I can even say this is the strongest that they looked at the time.
We're gelling nicely.
We're looking forward to just execute with them at a high level.
We enter into the BAL, the competition level gets higher. I think so. Having players who have played at higher levels is obviously real important. It's a new journey for me. I haven't been there before, so I've been watching a lot of the National League finals right now, and but I feel confident, and I think we're just trying to keep getting better day by day. I
think you'll get to see a lot of our young players really thrive and grow, complementing some of our experienced talent.
So, looking at how the Nairobi City Thunder managed to go ahead and sign all these players, the thing that I had it at mind was the Nairobi City Thunder going all in and signing these players. This will have meant one thing. The players that were already on the roster, they're going to go ahead and take a backseat, especially the players who are, Kenyan and they were in the roster during the regular season. Of course, they're going to get cut so that the Thunder can be able to add in new players. So that's one thing that I caught too. And whatever Brad Eves was saying here was a blatant lie, because there was no way the Thunder were going to go all in and sign, premier talent from around the world and have them sit on the bench to enable like a young core the young players to go ahead and do it. So this was something that when I was looking back at it, I said, you know what, this was crazy. Even I had a premise. The team have to justify the signings. So you can't bring a player who is premier and have them sit on the bench. So whatever you're saying here, it was just crazy.
It's a big continental basketball tournament, which we'll be competing in shortly. I think it's also significant. I mean, thank you to Coach Abel and the rest of the KBF basketball players that are going to be here tonight. I think they're working hard to help prepare us, right? So it feels like it's a kind of collaborative step of Kenyan basketball to help prepare us for this big continental tournament.
So during this period of preparation, the Nairobi City Thunder and KBF thought about a brilliant idea of having exhibition games where they assembled a group of players from like all across like the league from other teams and have them spar against the Nairobi City Thunder, which I found to be very good. But to be honest, this one created like a false sense of security for the Thunder, because looking at the type of competition that they were going to face vis-a-vis the type of exhibition games that they were having at the time, they were not measuring up. And the first games in the first round did not expose that. But moving forward, it did.
We added 6 really high-level players. One who played in the KBF last year was one of our top competitors, was a thorn in our side for much of last year, but then 5 players who played professionally internationally.
This will be our first time trying to integrate them within our system, but we've had quite some time with them to just work with them at practice. So we're looking forward to just execute with them at a high level.
The Nairobi City Thunder this time spared no expense at making sure that they built one of the best teams Kenyan basketball has ever seen. So they went ahead and got all the best players, especially players who play for the national team. All of them assembled at the Nairobi City Thunder. So at the beginning of the 2023-2024 season, you could see there was an attempt of the Nairobi City Thunder to go ahead and get all the best players, but they pushed like the ante up after they won the title in 2024, their first title in a while. So when the 2024 off season prior to the KBF starting and in the Road to Ball first round starting, the Nairobi City Thunder was so active in getting quality, and they made sure to go all across, not only within our borders but also outside. So this is where we saw Talongwai, Derek Ogechi, Eugene Adera. They also brought in Will Davis in there. Uchenna was there. So the whole time you could see at that period, it was about making sure that they can assemble the best squad ever. Also, Alberto Derry came in early 2024. He joined the roster, so you could see the attempt to make sure that the Nairobi City Thunder were the strongest they have ever been. The Nairobi City Thunder made sure to spare no expense at doing that, and they did a terrific job, especially assembling all the top talent together. So there's one thing in making sure that they have assembled all the talent, but there's also another thing to make sure that they all work together.
All about execution with us. So the guys are professional enough to always take instruction, and it's always been a pleasure working with them. Each of them brings a high level of play, the talent and the experience they've had at different spaces internationally. So we're looking forward to see how well they fit with the team, and we're expecting good things to come out of it. Yeah.
As we enter into the BAL, the competition level gets higher. I think so. Having players who have played at higher levels is obviously real important. At the same time, we wanted to make sure we got team-oriented guys, and I think I can confidently say after being together for a week, we're gelling nicely. We have really like others-oriented players, which I think can be really important. You know, sometimes blending import talent and local talent can be one of the real sticking points of these kinds of teams and this kind of competition. But I feel good where we're at right now. I think we had a great practice yesterday after a one full week of having everybody in the gym. It was highly competitive. I think guys were really excited to be playing against one another. So I think if we get that level of play tonight, you're really going to see what this current version of Thunder can do. It was very exciting.
So after the Thunder made all these new signings and bringing in all that top talent in there, the onus was on them to make sure that this roster worked like the well-oiled machine that it is, to the way it was constructed to be. So practice and make sure that the build chemistry was paramount.
The challenges with working with the guys aren't really different from working with female teams because it's all about execution with us. So the guys are professional enough to always take instruction, and it's always been a pleasure working with them. Having to work with the squad that we have that is really talented, it's been quite a privilege, I'd say, because I've grown up also watching some of these players play, so it's an inspiration doing this for Kenyan basketball. Yeah.
So for Coach Michelle Rose, I feel like this was her first go-around, especially when it came to continental basketball. So she made her mark with the Click Mambas, and her coaching and her knowledge of the game made sure to make sure that the Click Mambas team worked so well. And she was brought in by Twende for the Nairobi City Thunder. And to be honest, at this point, she did a very commendable job. But the one thing that people have a tendency to forget is there's a certain level of IQ and experience that somebody needs when it comes down to coaching in a continental showdown. This did not reveal itself right now, but later on, as you know, we go into the video and look at what really happened in BAL, you're going to see all these things expose themselves slowly. So right now it didn't expose itself, but you could see, you know, there was as you step up in class, you know, the teams and the way you're supposed to approach basketball changes. And one thing I noticed is some of the coaches here have a one-size-fits-all mentality. They feel like they only have to play one style to go ahead and win basketball games for every team. And one thing they came to realize was you can't do that all the time because some patterns and tendencies continue to show itself. But all in all, at this point, I give the benefit of the doubt to go ahead and do something. And, you know, in the first round, let's just see about that, like what really happened in there.
A lot of talent. I think it's a very underrated league as far as talent goes. I think there's, you know, I think people sometimes think that like all the best players are on Thunder, and I think that's a false narrative. I do. I'm not saying we don't have a lot of good players, but there are also a lot of other really talented players in this league. And you know, I was telling him I could go back and I could watch film from some of our games, and you know, we'd be playing against some of the university teams, and we'd be like almost even at halftime with some of these teams, and I would be frustrated with our guys, and I would go back and I would also watch, and then I would realize, okay, these teams are also, they're young, but they're also very talented, and so I think the future is bright.
To be honest, I feel like yes, there are players inside KBF in the Kenya National Basketball League that are talented, but the way their talent is managed in the worst way possible, because there are no avenues to make sure that these players are able to grow and become pro athletes. Because there's one thing a player can do, especially when it comes down to their own game and practice individually, but there's another when you have an institution that cares about growing and nurturing talent. So yeah, yes, they look underrated, but to be honest, none of their game plays can translate to the next level because they miss some key ingredients that can make them great. And it's not a fault for their own. I feel like they're dealt a bad hand. And the myth that, you know, the Nairobi City Thunder are only the talented team, I can say that it's true because they managed to get all the best players onto one team. If you look at the other players in the other teams, they're all depleted. So yeah, I mean, because Thunder have the money, they're able to go ahead and shell out their money to go ahead and get all these players. So I don't think Brad Gibbs was right and honest when he said that, because the people who have the most money in the league or have the most money at the table dictate who they want on the roster, and that's exactly what happened. Because when the Thunder got acquired by Twente, they overhauled the original Nairobi City Thunder team, and they did a whole rebrand, and they let go of like damn near like the whole squad, and they brought in new players in there. Only like 2-3 people were left in the original squad. So yeah, they had the money and they went ahead and got all the top talent. And if you look at Nairobi City Thunder vis-a-vis all the other teams, you could see all the talent was with the Nairobi City Thunder.
Our fans pulled for us during the season last year. I think as we move towards this, continental tournament, we need you all the more. As many as we'd be willing and able to travel and be our fans to wherever we'll be playing. Like that would be amazing. But even if not, just to be pulling for us in whichever way they can.
So when the time came, the Nairobi City Thunder went ahead to travel to Tanzania, and they had 4 games that they played. So they played against the BV Heat, GNBC, JKT, and Urunani. So Urunani, they were the top team at the time, and they had Marcus Crawford, they had Jinjakis Boise, and in those 4 games that the Thunder played in the first round, they're able to dominate in 3 games apart from 1. In the game that they lost to Urunani, they lost by 1 point, and you could see they had the best roster, but when it came down to who was going to go ahead and close the games, the challenge was who was going to go ahead and take the last shot. You could see there was a bit of inexperience and some low IQ plays down the stretch. And had they played basketball in a way that winning was supposed to guide them to, that Urunani game, they will have won it and they will have gone 4 straight. Because Urunani, they won 4 straight games, and the only threat that the Thunder had at the time was Urunani. But all in all, they were able to go ahead and qualify for the Elite 16. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and let the players go ahead and talk about what was their experience, especially when it came down to these games.
The game was good today. The game was good. I think at first everybody was a little jittery, which is normal for a first game. We had to get the jitters out. The other team came out with a lot of energy, but I think we were confident that if we played our game for the entire game, that things would kind of settle out and settle down, especially in the second half. So it was good for our team to kind of take a hit early, but stay together and continue to work on all the things that we've been practicing for this last 4 to 6 weeks. We always go into every game expecting to win. I don't say that to undermine or put down the other team, because there's a lot of talented teams here, but I think we're extremely talented too, and I think if we play to the best of our abilities, we can come out and win every single game. So I go into the next game expecting to win. I think we can continue to work on our defense. Defense, as people say, wins championships, and if we can continue to stay connected on defense and take that to the next level, I think we put ourselves in a position to win every game we step into.
It's first game. The game was good. We started slow, but with time we picked it up. We picked the pace up, and eventually the third and the fourth quarter we did good. It was more like just introduction to the tournament, and I think we already got our first win now. So come to our second game, we'll be ready and maybe execute even better. The only thing we expect is we'll come harder, play harder compared today. We started slow, but I hope Urunani game, the first quarter will pick up the pace.
I can say, I think there was some calls I wish maybe early would have went the other way. All those things kind of contribute to, I think what was a slow start for us. And then, we got a little bit lazy on defense at the same time, and it allows them to stay in the game maybe a little bit longer than we would have liked. But I think in the end we kind of got to where we needed to be. So, obviously we're going to try to put our work in over the next couple days to make that happen. But I think there is something also just psychologically, when you play a top team, you come out and you play your best. Not that we didn't try to play our best today, but there's something that I think in some sense it takes very little effort from me to make sure those guys are locked in those games. So.
The game today was really good. I think we played really well together.
The competition, we knew that we had to set the tone. We weren't playing against our competition, we were playing for ourselves and trying to see the level that we want to get to during the whole tournament. Always the first games are always rough like that. The starts are always real shaky because you're excited to play, so everyone got to calm down, get used to the game, and then it flows easier. As you saw at the end of the game, we were able to do what we were supposed to do. Everything's been gelling fine. As you saw, we won, played really well today, but I think there's another step we could take forward as a team. And as new players, I think we're going to continue to help and continue to grow with the old Thunder players as well. Defensively, I think we need to be better at help side defense. And then offensively, we just got to make shots. I think we're capable of making the shots that we took today. I think the next game will be better off, more comfortable. Second game of the tournament, so we should be fine.
So the Nairobi Thunder were coasting through, and they were able to go ahead and make quick work of the 4 games that they had in the first round. And the expectation was make it to the Elite 16. And at the time when I was watching those games live, that was the mentality I had, because they were supposed to make sure to make it to the Elite 16 so they can have a chance at qualifying for the BAL 5 at the time. And looking at the way they played, they met no resistance. And even with the mistakes that they had at the time on the roster, yes, there were new players who they integrated the roster chemistry. They were still forming it. And given the high tempo basketball that they were going to go into, a lot will have, been at play, especially when it came down to making sure that this roster is at full strength. And Will Davis, he got injured in the game versus Urinani, and we never got to see him until BAL season 5, which was crazy. And looking at even how the other players, played, yeah, it was, a good performance. I can say it's a team performance, because there were no outstanding players who went ahead and had crazy games and crazy start lines. But hey, let's hear what Tyler Ongwae and Ariel Okal had for us at the time.
Today we came out strong. We had prepared for Runani very well. We knew their players, they are very good players, so we took our time to prepare for them. And when we started the game, we started well, but we could not finish. Yes, there are 2 of them, our main guys, UC and Will. UC fouled out and Will got injured with his ankle. So when they left the game, we kind of lost our rhythm a little bit. So that kind of set us back. As a basketball player, you just have to forget about everything. The game now is over, we lost. We just have to forget about it and just focus on the next game tomorrow at 4.
So that was Tyler talking about that game versus Urinani, and you could see this is going to be a recurrent theme where he says, you have to forget about the previous game and focus on the next. So this is the mentality that's going to carry on until BAL season 6, and you're going to see a lot of crazy things that happened. But if you look at it closely, you can see that there was no agreed closer in that game, and Tailongwai, he gave the ball to Fade, who blew the game for us. And to be honest, it was just pathetic. I still remember that game till this day, because I even made a video talking about that game. And looking at Will Davis, he got injured in there, just like I mentioned earlier. Tyler reiterated it, and we never got to see him again in the first round and also the Elite 16. So Tailongwai, at this point, he was still struggling to find his own, and he was still struggling to go ahead and show that he's still the 2021 Tailongwai who hit that game-winning shot to qualify for the AfroBasket in 2021. So this is not that version of Tyler. This was like 3 years later. So we were waiting at the time to see if this guy is going to go ahead and do something. But you could see the confidence was still there even after the loss, and still it was iterated by Ariel Okal.
Today was all about redemption. Yesterday we lost a big one, so we just wanted to come out aggressive and put some really quick points on the board to try and mess around with the point differential. That was the goal today. In Thunder, we have the next man up mentality. I was out in the first 2 games, he goes down, so the other guys have to cover for him until he comes back in the next round. But losing him is a big loss because he has been our anchor defensively on the front court, and he has also been our anchor offensively when we are attacking because he's big. He's the biggest in the tournament. So losing him is like losing a tower. So, you know, but we cover for him. We gotta stay locked in as a team and take care of business tomorrow. It's our home team. We're playing the home team, and you know that's a tall order, so we cannot start lacking right now. So we got to stay focused and take care of business tomorrow against JKT.
The Nairobi City Thunder, they finished off their first round with a 3-1 record, and that game versus JKT, they were able to go ahead and win it, and they clinched a spot at the Elite 16 for Road to Bal 5 at the time. And you can see Ariel Okal, this guy, I've been very opinionated when it comes to him. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a few things that I've seen with his play. So this guy, you can say the best time that he played in the Road to Bal was in 2019 when he played for the KPA team, the KPA Dockers. Unfortunately, the Dockers, they will have made history as the first ever Kenyan team to make it to Bal. But unfortunately, the KPA organization chose not to support the team at the hour of need at the Elite 16, leading to them having a walkover versus the City Oilers, and they lost their shot at their first ever inaugural Bal season. So that was a mistake from KPA's side. And looking at those performances at the time, Ariel Okal, that was his peak. So this version of Ariel Okal was a washed player, somebody who cannot be able to must have any type of offense. He doesn't have any footwork, and he was basically carried by the other players on the roster. So I just want to put that out there because that's something that is very important. You're going to see all these play out as we move forward in this video, because to be honest, the truth is what I base myself on. And if you're looking at this channel, if you take in my content, you'll understand that I really don't care about, feelings or anything. I have to make sure to tell it as it is. And this guy is not the answer to any team, especially when it comes to offense. Defensively, he's also a poor defender. I don't think he has any other function. He has any other functionality apart from being tall. I don't think he can be able to do anything for you. So there's that. And with that, the Thunder were in to the Elite 16. So let's hear what Coach Brad Abbs had to say about this whole, journey into the Elite 16 for Road to Bal 5.
So we're trying to just be prepared for every eventuality. And so, let's say, for example, that at the end of this tournament, 3 teams finish with 3 wins and 1 loss, then they would go to like the differential in points to determine the final ranking. So it was good for us to have win by a high margin today.
We don't have a choice right now. We have to win and play the home team, which is a really, they are a tough team, they're champions here. And when you play another champion and you're a champion in your country, those are 2 good teams. So we'll treat them with the respect they deserve.
And so for the Elite 16, it was agreed by Road to Bal that the Elite 16 will be hosted in Nairobi. So the first 2 games happened in the Nyayo Gymnasium. Then the other 3 games for the Thunder, they happened at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. So the first 2 games, they are easy whitewash for the Thunder. They're able to go ahead and dismantle MBB and Creole Star. And before that, you could see the Thunder also did not waste any time retooling, because this is the time they brought in Abdullahi Haruna and Antar Majok. So these 2 players really catapulted the Thunder to superstar status. I can even say that, because they looked stronger than before. And after the demise of Will Davis, when he rolled his ankle and he, hurt himself, you could see the Thunder spared no expense. For the next 5 games, they went ahead, they played 5 games, they had 5 wins, they finished 5-0 in the Elite 16. So the Thunder did not look back, and they wanted to make sure that their qualification was cemented. So at this point in Thunder basketball, you could see the Nairobi City Thunder, the front office spared no expense at spending and bringing in players who are quality, and something that was caught me off guard, especially when they signed them. And this is not something that Kenyans are used to, especially with a team like EPA, who are very stingy, especially when it came down to signing quality. But the Thunder said, let's just go ahead and bring in BAL veterans who know how to play this game and they can help us win games. And they were able to go ahead and dominate in their first 2 games. So let's hear what the players and also the coaching staff had to say with this whole, the whole qualification process.
That's how you start the tournament. That's how you start a tournament of this stature. And I think that win is a teaching point for what we want to do as the tournament continues. Not at all. We expected it. We are a bit rusty. We played our last game in Tanzania against a different opponent. And now that we get to face a new opponent after a period of time, it was going to be a little bit difficult for us to get our footing right. But we are pros, and as the quarters went on, we started to lock in on defense, and we got the job done. We didn't even expect to get 100. Ken Washira came in with some big shots, 5 for 5. I kind of feel like that is like a confidence booster for us going into the second game tomorrow. We're going to take it a game at a time.
Last 2 days have been good. We're not trying to get too high, we're not too low, we're just trying to stay, because we still know the job's not done, you know what I'm saying? Anything could happen. We got to keep our foot on the gas. Oh, it's nice playing at home. Honestly, like when they said we were hosting it, I could just tell it gave everybody a boost of energy. And like, we never hosted one of these, so it's just nice to just stay at home, have our fans show us love, and also introduce them to good basketball, because there's other good talented teams playing here. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. On behalf of Thunder, continue supporting us. We're trying to make history, and you guys are a part of it. As much as we're a part of it, you guys are a part of it. Thank you very much.
I think we have improved from yesterday. We came out, played hard on defense, and shared the ball. And you see what happened when we do that. It has been good. Like we are playing good. We are playing team basketball. We are playing hard on defense. And that's what I've been saying. If we do this, then we have a chance to really make some noise. I'll just say defense, we need to even tighten the small things we are making. And also we need to rebound on defense and also go on more offensive rebound. We do that, we're good. I will say come in large number, especially now we're going to Kasarani. Let's fill Kasarani to 5,000 people. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're not going to disappoint you guys. Let's go Thunder.
If I'm honest, I kind of think we did, right? I think we knew our guys were ready. I think what surprised me more was not that we scored 102 points. I think what surprised me was a little bit of the slow start. I think they hit some really tough shots, and they kind of kept the momentum kind of it's a little bit of like a seesaw. But I think, with some good defense in the second half, some of those shots didn't start going, and we started converting on the other end. So I can say I think it wasn't totally unexpected. I knew our guys were going to come ready. Well, I think it just means you have a really deep and talented team. We can very comfortably play 11 players in this tournament, and I think that's a benefit to us, right? I think there's honestly, like, some of the best basketball I've seen is just when our guys go against each other, and it's really amazing. And I think you could see the quality, 1 through 11 tonight. Even a guy like Ken Washira didn't play for 3 quarters, came and stole the show in the 4th quarter. He's like a special kid, and I think it's a testimony to how deep we are 1 through 11. So I hope so, but I think so. But in some ways, you still have to treat every game like a different game, right? You can't just assume what's going to happen against this team is going to be an automatic carryover. But I think it's when you can get these games when the energy's up and the vibes are good and everybody's happy, everybody had a chance to contribute. That's really good. That's really good. So I think more of the same.
We had a slow start. We kept on battling out. They score, we score. We were able to push the lead out second half and get the win. And I'm happy about that. On to the next. It's good because it means a lot of people scored. A lot of people got to get in rhythm. That's going to help us going forward with the better competition we play. We're deep. You saw what we could do. From 1 to 11, everybody could contribute. So we're deep, and we're hoping that's going to help us in this tournament. We got to start better. We can't be trading buckets, and we got to run. We got to run from the get-go. That's what we got to do.
So for the first 2 games in the early 16, the Thunder never skipped a beat, and you could see the signings that they got, they were paying off. They scored 100 points back-to-back, something that I never even expected. And you could see the Thunder, the way they played, it was great. And this one gave us a lot of confidence, especially when it came down to, will the Thunder be able to go ahead and make it to the BAL 5 at the time, and qualify as the first team in Kenyan basketball history to go ahead and do it. So these 2 games, not only did they catapult the Thunder to stardom, but you could see they also gave the Thunder that ability and confidence to go ahead and dominate in the remaining games. And the new signings that they brought in, Abdullahi Haruna and Atar Majok, they were paying off, because Atar Majok, being at the center position, he made the other players in the team think differently about going ahead and guarding. And you can see there was this monster dunk that Atar Majok had mid-game, and this one really killed any hopes MBB had or Creostar in winning that game. I remember watching that game live, and to be honest, I saw this as the most dominant the Thunder had been in a while. And those are the first 2 games that happened at the Nyayo Gymnasium. And in the remaining 3 games, they played against Bravehearts, they played against City Oilers, and they played against the Creostar game in the finals, which enabled them to go ahead and clinch it. So they already clinched when they made it to the finals, but they wanted to go ahead and win the Division East, and they went ahead and made it past the Creostar. So the way that they played in those games, it was great. So let's just hear what the coaching staff, the players had at the time, especially with reference to their qualification process and these games. So we're going to start off with what they said after winning against Bravehearts.
Well, obviously it's great to be 3-0, finishing group stage. I think we've had two great games, and I think tonight I'd say was a good game. But I think we're getting it basically everybody in the game every match, and I think that really keeps the team spirit up. Everybody's been having really significant contributions, also really good. I think tonight we didn't play our best. I think we kind of came in a little bit sluggish, which obviously we know we can't do tomorrow. So we'll kind of address that and look for a little bit more focus to start the game tomorrow.
It was a great game. I think that we finished the group stage 3-0, and now we're in the semifinals, and that was our goal. So we're excited to go.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of our practice in preparation for this has been those two squads competing against each other. And let me tell you, the squad that usually comes in second, they win their fair share of games, right? When we bring any of those guys off the bench, we have full confidence. I just came from a team meeting, so sorry I was late for this. And Ater Majok was just talking about how impressed he was by our depth. His great trust for really anybody that we bring off the bench, and I think you see it, right? Like even our first unit tonight, as great as those guys are, as high a level as those guys have played, they kind of struggle. They didn't bring their A game today. Bring in Derek and his guys, and now all of a sudden we see the lead just expanding. We've got a really deep team. It's really fun.
Derek, going into the decider match for the qualification, what is the spirit in the locker room right now?
I think everyone's demeanor is very high. I think we're going into tonight resting, going to watch film, and then excited to play and try to be the first Kenyan team to make the BAL.
It was okay. It was good. I think we know we didn't play our best basketball today. I think we also knew we probably would walk away with a win in this one, even if we didn't. But I think it was a good game to kind of like to get on this court, to experience it a little bit in preparation for tomorrow. But I think you can expect us to be a little bit more locked in and focused right from the tip. I think we're all really pulling for one another right now. I think there's a lot of trust in this locker room. Guys know if they, if a teammate needs to have their back, or if they need to pass to a teammate, there's a lot of trust that person will get the job done. So I think that just bodes well for team basketball, and I think we know we're going to need a team effort tomorrow to get the victory. Positives, there's a lot over the group stage to like. I think our depth, the different contributions that guys are making. I honestly, overall, I don't feel like there's a lot of negatives. I mean, today maybe a little bit of weak side rebounding, but I think I don't know if guys were necessarily saving themselves, but I think you'll see a different edge to tomorrow's game.
So now the most important game was going to happen. So the Thunder, they were going into the City Oilers game with a 3-0 record, and they managed to beat every single team in their first 3 games. And now they're in the semis versus the City Oilers. And this was the game that was going to decide the fate of the Nairobi City Thunder. And the Thunder were able to go ahead and dominate. And they won this game by 10 points. I was there at the Kasarani Indoor Arena, and I watched the game live. To be honest, I had goosebumps the whole thing, and throughout the whole game. And I can even say the Thunder did Kenya proud here, and the new signings paid off, and they paid off in a big way. Especially, you see Ater Majok, Abdullah Haruna. They are the guys that I can even say they headlined that game, and I can even say our stars, the stars that were in the Kenya, not even in Kenya, but the stars on the Nairobi City Thunder at the time, they did not shine the way the imports did, and you could see the biggest payoff that came is when those new signings came alive, and they went ahead and made sure that the Nairobi City Thunder qualified. That was the most important thing. That's the reason as to why they got brought in. And at this point, I can even say the Thunder, this was peak Thunder basketball at the time. To be honest, I don't think NCT had any weak spots, even going into the semis. And even the way they played against Israel Otobo there with the City Oilers. The City Oilers are coming off hot. And you could see there was a bit of tension at the end of the game. But you could see the Nairobi City Thunder kept their cool, and they're able to go ahead and qualify for their first ever BAL season. And that time it was BAL Season 5, which is going to happen in Kigali, Rwanda. So this was a monumental part in history. Even I don't think the finals had any flair like this. And also, just as a throw-in, the Nairobi City Thunder really wanted that rematch versus Urnani, but Creole Star thought otherwise, and they beat Urnani in the semis. So the Nairobi City Thunder, even after qualifying, they really wanted to meet Urnani, but it didn't happen. And the Nairobi City Thunder had to settle to play against Creole Star. So let's hear the reaction and the post-game presser that the Thunder had after qualifying for the BL after beating the City Oilers?
We start with the coach.
Start with the coach. It's an amazing day, I think, for us. It's a historic day, I think, even first time a club team from Kenya has made it into the BAL. Feels like a huge day, I think, for Kenyan basketball, which I think is something that we feel really proud to be a part of. And I think if you turned around like at the end after the game and saw all of our fans, it's just a really special moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw at the end of the game how we celebrated because we have been working hard for the last 3 months. Coach has been preparing us for this. Our practices have been harder than this, and I think we were prepared, and we are proud to represent Kenya in the first BL.
Coach, yesterday you told us that you had a sluggish start and that couldn't happen. How was the expectation in today's match?
Yeah, we came out much better. I think we also played a better team. So I think, we gave up 26 points at the half, and I thought our defensive effort was great. Our defensive connectedness was great. We didn't make some shots in the first half that I think we normally would, and that might have given us a more comfortable lead. But I mean, those guys are also playing for a BAL appearance, and so there's a lot on the line, so everything came difficult, right? So, but I liked the way we were playing. We felt good when we went into halftime. We felt good about the way we were playing. Sometimes the shots just don't go down.
Tyler, for you, from when they had the runs, sometimes coming to within a point at 40, 41, what was the mentality and what kept you going?
Our mentality was just keep going, like just work hard on defense and like just control what we can control. Like sometimes our shots were not falling, but we didn't dwell on that. We kept on hustling hard on defense, and at the end of the day, it gave us the win.
Yeah, that's a good question. I honestly haven't given it much thought. I think there's some of our guys really laid it on the line tonight. I think Tyler, was dealing with a lingering issue. He really went hard tonight, probably past what his body allowed him to. You see AJ diving on the floor. There's going to be some guys that are really going to be banged up tonight because the way that they gave it their all. And I don't think we'll ask them to do the same thing tomorrow night.
So is that a way of you saying that tomorrow other players like the second team like Adera and the likes of Wakana, is it a way of saying they'll play more?
We'll probably see more of them tomorrow.
Ayumba Yodi from Nation, congratulations.
Thank you.
History made. This victory, what does it mean for the team, Thunder, and generally basketball in the country?
Should take that one, team.
It means a lot, being the first team from Kenya to qualify for BL, it means a lot. And for us, it's just to keep growing the game of basketball in Kenya. And it's just to elevate our league, and for us to qualify is just one step. And I'm just happy to represent Kenya in the next BL.
How does it feel as a player? I think it's been a dream for you to actually for a Kenyan team to participate in BAL. How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels great, and that the reason why it feels good because we have worked really hard for the last 3 months. If you came to our practice, it was intense. Guys were going at each other. Even today you saw, that's just a glimpse of what we do in practice. And I'm just happy, everybody's happy to go to BL.
Okay, one question. Racha is from WSN, so this is directed to Taylor. Can you talk about a key moment in the game that turned the tide in your favor?
I'll say we started the game well, and we were on top the whole of the game. And credit to UC, Garang, and AJ. for the good game they have had, and that shows like our team, we are well balanced. Anybody can have a good night, and have a good night here, and that's what a team supposed to look. If some guys are struggling, some others will pick up. So I think we have a good team, and when we go to Bal, we're gonna make some noise.
Okay, lastly, Tyler, you've played for the Kenyan national team also here in Kasarani, and you seem to be in Nairobi City almost full of the stadium. Do you feel like this is a turning point for Kenyan basketball in the country?
Yes, it's a turning point. First of all, credit to the fans. They have been amazing. They have supported us since day one, and it shows that people in Kenya love basketball. And it's just our duty to keep on growing the game so we can attract even more people and also mentor like young kids.
Any more questions? Last one to Coach. What message did you convey to the players ahead of this crucial game?
Yeah, I think we focused a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and I think just like kind of effort on defense and making sure that we were physical, making sure that they knew that we were there. We knew they had really good shooters, and we couldn't let them free. And so I think, and then we said that we have to do that for 40 minutes, and we did, right? Like there were some moments where they were able to kind of like sneak back into the game, but guys they played hard for 40 minutes, and I think we're able to reestablish those margins. It was good.
So you could see at this point, nobody could go ahead and question the Thunder, even with their flaws being there. I mean, nobody said anything because winning healed all the wounds, and winning changed the whole narrative. And looking at the Thunder making it to Bal 5 at the time, you could see even the reporters really were glazing them, making sure that, they feel good, even into the questioning, not having any negative questions there because, of course, they had made history. So if you read the room, you could see anyone who would have gone contrary to that will be seen as, taking a jab at the team. But the flaws of the Thunder were still there because the way that they played the basketball games, you could see majority of the players, they were trying to see if they can be able to carry on that chemistry through. And the short term, it worked. But for the long term, it didn't. And we're going to see that moving forward because I'm going to, go ahead and play some more reactions. If you have noticed, I want to make sure that the things that you might have missed, especially when it came to the BAL qualification process for the Nairobi City Thunder, able to see them now because this is what is trying to evaporate, or even some of the fans who have short memory might try to erase this from history. But yours truly has made sure to document everything. So let's hear more reactions from the other players, especially when it came down to this qualification process, because this thing was historic. This thing was monumental. This was never been done in Kenyan history, especially being done in Kenyan soil. That is one thing that made the difference at the time. So let's hear what these other guys on the roster had to say.
Aluta, top shatter. Top shatter. Tuko ndani msee. Ndani. I don't know, man. I'm confused right now. I have confused emotions, but history has happened here tonight. You already know, like 4 times of trying for Kenya and finally getting a win, and we won at home, so that's huge for us. I think the job is just starting. I'll say the job is not done yet until we get there and win something, win a couple of games. That's when I'll say I'll have something to comment. For now, I'm just happy. I want to enjoy this one. Milestone for Kenyan basketball is going to shed a lot of light for basketball here in Kenya. So this was huge for us. They came out strong defensively, and they have some very good players on their side. They made a lot of shots. Those guys can shoot the ball, and they are 10-time champions in Uganda. So we gave them the respect that they deserve, and we played them with a lot of caution. And at the end of the day, our defense did the job for us. Thunder fans expect wins every single time. They're spoiled for wins. So tomorrow we are coming here to win the game. We cannot afford to lose 2 games. We cannot afford to lose 2 games in the first and second round of the BAL. So we want to finish this one with only 1 loss that we had in Tanzania. When you play good basketball, a lot of people come out to support you guys, and you have seen today that Kenyan fans love basketball. I've seen a lot of new faces that I...
First of all, credit to the staff. They have worked really hard to prepare us for the last 3 months, and you can see what happened. My teammates have been exemplary. They have played hard in practice. We have played together. We have fought in practice, but we have gotten the results at the end of the day. It means a lot doing for Kenya. Our aim is to grow the basketball here in Kenya, to make it bigger, and it's just the start. It's going to be better and better. It's going to get better and better. I would just like to thank the fans for showing up. You have been amazing. You have cheered us. You are the ones. You're the sixth man. Thank you, and hope to see you guys in Bali. Thank you.
It's big. You hear the energy in the room. You hear the energy in the room. It's big. It's huge. I'm thankful for everybody in here, man. That's it, man. I'm happy we got the job done. It means a lot. I can't even describe what it means, man. A lot of people have sacrificed a lot just to be here. It means a lot, and that's just an understatement. Let's just go represent Kenya in the BAL the right way. We never got too rattled. We stayed composed. Our vets did what they needed to do, finish the job, and yeah, it was a good win. It was a good win. We fought. We won. We fought. Appreciate you. We couldn't have done it without y'all. Continue supporting us. Thank you. Honestly, this is probably a bad answer, but we got what we wanted. However that goes, it goes. Of course, we're trying to win, but yo, job is done. We qualified. We happy. Yeah.
When we came into the game, the whole approach is to go hard and get this win. My coach told me to go all out. My teammates had my back, and we got the dub. That's all that matters right now. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. We tried it before with KPA. Right now we're here. We're going, and I'm really happy about this. I'm excited. It's a huge step, especially with the type of players that I'm playing with right now. It's a huge boost. We're ready for the challenge. We know what we're going to face. We have a great group of guys, and we have a perfect coaching system as well. So we're ready for it. I just want to say thank you to the fans. We couldn't have done all this without you. We appreciate you big time.
Yeah, it's really special. I feel like I've had in almost 17 years of living in Kenya the experience to be a part of a lot of different levels and experiences of basketball here, and you know, to be able to kind of do it at the top, it's really precious. I mean, as much as we you know, as the game got close, I think we still always felt good. I think we liked the way that we were playing. You know, I think it was just a matter tonight of, like, I think some shots that normally go down for us weren't falling, but I think in general we were happy with how we were playing. So I feel like we had a lot of confidence in our defense tonight against them. The kind of shots that they needed to make to kind of stay with it they were a lot of times really tough shots. I don't think we didn't give up any easy buckets. Yeah. First out, like, shout out to our investors, you know, for I think really making it possible for this a multitude of fans to come, and that really boosted us in the second half. As soon as our bench would start chanting, you know, then you would hear the whole crowd get into it, you know, yelling defense. It was amazing. But yeah, just Thunder fans, like thank you. I feel like our numbers keep growing. We're going to need you even more, you know, as we continue to move on. And yeah, it's great. We love you guys. I mean, these guys are competitors. They want to.
So you could see the mood was happy all around, and the wins really helped the morale of the team. And there was not too much expectation when it came down to the finals matchup versus Creole Star, because had Urunani won, it would have been a much interesting finals. But the Nairobi Thunder went ahead, did their thing, and they were to beat Creole Star. So this was something that had never been done, and the Nairobi Thunder kept on making history. And even looking at the last game versus Creole Star, it was no different from when the Nairobi Thunder met them earlier in the Elite 16. So let's hear what Coach Brad Davis had to say about that win versus Creole Star and also winning the Division East.
I think it's been a really amazing experience to have this event hosted in Kenya, for us to be the first Kenyan club to qualify for ball, to be able to go 5-0 in front of our amazing fans that kept showing up game after game, and just a really beautiful experience for our club, and I think for Kenyan basketball at large.
How has the experience been? What has motivated you to be consistent in your taking shooting? As of now, you probably stand at 60% shooting.
Yeah.
How's the confidence?
The answer to that is just my coach and my teammates. So they always encourage me, even when I was not shooting my best at practice. They always encourage me, if you have an open shot, you take it. So it's just like confidence. So they kept my confidence going, and I came to the tournament with high confidence that I'm able to knock down the shots, and thank God I made the shots.
That is 4 to 5 pointers. What do you think of that performance? Because for a youngster like you, I mean, what do you think of it? And now qualifying for BAL, what does it really mean to you? Does it mean something nice, something special to you? And how will you celebrate it?
I'd say it's really good. I made those 4 out of 5. I've seen my teammates make more than that. Example is Ken Washira. So at practice we always compete with each other. We always shoot with each other. It helps us improve as a team, and they have confidence in me when I get that shot. So it's okay. As we go into BL, it's now like this was just the first step for us. I'd say the second step, Tanzania being the first step, moving into our third stage of the BAL is really motivating to us, and like I say, we just keep going. We just keep going in this tournament, this BAL tournament. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
How do you do it? Because I'm very sure you vote yes. 5 out of 5, but I'm very sure that the areas where you need to tighten. This is the first step you've seen within the conference, and I'm very sure that you reach the knockout, and even with the thing, which areas do you want tightened?
I'd say especially on defense, being like we are a running team, we are able to lock down people on our defense. So I think we shall improve on our defense and also executing on our offense. So that's what I'd say. That's the major thing, but a day at a time. So just improve 1% per day, and everything will be good. By the time we get to the conferences, we'll be okay.
One last question.
Mine to the coach. As you mentioned earlier, this is the first Kenyan player to make it here. Maybe what are some of the things you're going to work on? Because now it means the intensity is going to be more, you're going to meet more developed teams who are going to bring even more heat.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what aspects of the game have you noticed that maybe you're going to put more?
I think I would probably just restate some of the things that Garang just mentioned, right? I think you can never be good enough on defense, or you can always be a little bit better, a little bit tougher, a little bit faster, and hopefully when we start preparing for conference play, we'll have good amount of time with players. I think we've learned a lot. This is our first time doing this. I think we've learned a lot through the preparing for Tanzania and now this Elite 16 division, and so I think we even know kind of better how to organize our time and how to get quality reps in on those things. But I think honestly, we also want to probably just do a lot of the same things that we have been doing in terms of like building team chemistry, getting guys to really play for one another, trust one another. A lot of times at the end of the day, those are the simple things that really help to win basketball games. If you've got a team that's committed to one another, they're willing to play hard, and if you've got the talent, which obviously I think, thanks to Twende and our investors, we've been able to bring in good talent, then you really have a great chance to win.
Coach, you've been in Kenya for some time. How special is this tournament at
almost 17 years, and I've been involved in a lot of different aspects of basketball in Kenya. So obviously, I think you know, maybe apart from the national team, this might be the highest level that, you know, that Kenyan players compete in. So it just feels, it's a great honor. It's a great honor, really. It feels like a privilege. I couldn't imagine this, you know, like even a few years ago, if you'd have told me I'd be sitting here on my way to taking, you know, Kenya's first club team to the BAL, I couldn't have imagined it. So I love Kenya. My family's here. We have roots here, and so it just feels really special to be able to be a part of this.
A message to the boys? Just a message to the boys.
To our players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so proud of them. I think the way that they love and respect and trust one another, you could see it on the bench, right? And I think if there's anything that I think I've tried to bring to Thunder basketball, I think it is that we can all really be happy for the contributions that each person makes, and I think you saw it with this group of guys, and I think it allowed us to be really, to be honest, like 11 players deep in this tournament, and everybody contributed, and everybody was also happy for those who were inside the court contributing. So.
Can I put you in a tight corner? From your team, who would you say has been the most outstanding?
Yeah, actually. That really isn't a part of our team culture, actually. So, agree? Yeah.
Yep.
It's been different people each night. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Last question here for you, for the coach. What? Just one, last one. Okay. Where are you going? We are in line. Maybe adjust.
When you
Okay, I wanted to ask, are you worried about the turnovers, especially for the yesterday's match? And as much as that, what are you planning to work on in the back, in the short league? And maybe qualifying, maybe someone may see this as the easiest part, and the hard part maybe to making a match in the league. What are you planning on that? And finally, will you be part of the squad, or is there anyone leading?
Which one question do you want me to answer?
So first of all, I'll speak about the turnover that you have experienced in the yesterday's.
Okay, let me answer that one. That was a do or die game. The winner of that game went to the BAL, right? They were playing aggressive defense. Those games are tough. I don't know. I don't remember the stats, how many turnovers. I didn't think turnovers in particular were that big of a problem yesterday. I'm sure we had some, but we always do. But I think as we continue to prepare, we'll continue to try to prepare the best fundamental basketball that we can, and with high level talent. And I think if we kind of continue to put that combination together, we'll be fine.
So at this point, this is peak Nairobi City Thunder basketball, and this is the highest point they will ever get, because from here onwards, it was just downhill. And to be honest, I expected it, because the Nairobi City Thunder had a first world problem that they could not be able to figure out, because on the one hand, they have to go ahead and defend their KBF title, and also on the other hand, they have to go ahead and see if they can leave a mark in BAL season 5. And fast forward, you could see Atar Majok and Abdullahi Haruna left, and they brought in Evans Ganapamo, Will Davis, Uchenna, UC. They brought those guys, and there are a couple of players who didn't even play. They brought in Ana Apia, who didn't play. Derek Ogechi was listed as he was not going to play, and it was such a sad situation, because it was all downhill, and things did not look well at all. And looking at how Brad Gibbs was approaching it, you could see the Nairobi City Thunder were not prepared when it came down to BAL basketball, and not even prepared but through training, but mentally prepared, because when it came to the Basketball Africa League BAL season 5, you could see the teams that were there, they were strong teams: APR, Al Ahly Tripoli, and MBB. Those are the teams that the Thunder had to play in the Nile Conference. And looking at how strong those rosters were, it was going to be a challenge for the Thunder to be able to go ahead and see if they can pull off or even win a single game. But they were able to win only one game, and they lost 5 games. So it was a tough situation. And here on out, everything just went downhill, and they were still stuck in that euphoria of making it to qualifying. And even in the media interviews that the Nairobi City Thunder did, albeit it was the players, the coaching staff, they were all delusional, and they were, just drunk in that state of euphoria where they had already qualified for BAL, their BAL representatives, and they're only happy with just qualifying. And that was the thing that irked me the most, because while other teams were beefing up their roster to make sure that they have the best team ever to go ahead and dominate, the Nairobi City Thunder were losing their players. The big question mark was, will Atara Majok and Abdullahi Haruna still play for the Nairobi City Thunder in BAL Season 5? That was a big question mark there, and they left and they found their way to Ville Dakar, where they, stunk it up and didn't make the postseason. You see, he was the guy that was there on the roster at the point guard position, and I can even say it was a tough situation because the Thunder had about 5.5 months to prepare, and they did nothing. The Nile Conference was the last conference to tip off. So you saw the Kalahari, Sahara, and Nile was the last one, which tipped off in May. And fast forward, you could see nothing happened. And I covered it extensively, but here I'm just going to put in some of the things and nuggets that people did not see when it came down to like the media pressures that the Nairobi City Thunder players were making, even the coaching staff. So enjoy.
But I think for most people, how does it feel qualifying for BAL for you, first of all?
Yeah, it feels amazing. It's great to be back here. I think this is our first time back as a team in Kasarani Stadium, on this floor where we qualified in front of our home fans in these bleachers right here. I think we can all just appreciate what an amazing experience that was. And yeah, I think now it's on to the next chapter of preparations and competition.
Okay. Captain, when you were told that the team has qualified, how did it feel at that particular point that you were through to BAL, the first Kenyan team to qualify?
It feels good. We have been preparing for this, and one of our main goals was to qualify for the BAL, and I think we achieved it. So that was a good feeling for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Derek, when you joined the team, what was going through your mind when you were joining Nairobi City Thunder? Of course, you had your own personal expectations, and you played a key role in ensuring the team qualified for BAL. How did it feel that moment when you heard that we are going to be representing Kenya for the first time?
It was definitely exciting. It was the whole reason why I came back, play with this group of guys, team that we put together. Most of the guys are from the national team, so most of them are my friends. So it was exciting to do something so historic together.
Derek Ogechi was getting excited for nothing, and he didn't even play a single minute in BAL Season 5. To be honest, you can't make this stuff up. You could tell the Nairobi City Thunder did zero preparations reference to BAL basketball. Yes, you can just prepare, but they thought that it will be smooth sailing like the way they play for KBF. When they play KBF team, they thought BAL basketball is similar to KBF basketball, and that's why they were so nonchalant when it came to their training. Look at how they were approaching it. They were just happy to be there. BAL is a different beast. While other teams were trying to see, can we be able to get that silverware to play in the FIBA Continental Cup, the Nairobi City Thunder, the players, the coaching staff, they were just happy to be there. And this is the reason as to why the excuses that they had, especially when they came and lost moving forward, they were using them so that they can be able to soften the blow. So yeah, they are softening and they are mentally conditioning, the fans that, regardless of the outcome, they were just happy to be in BAL. And that was what was being communicated here.
Garan, how did it feel for you?
Man,
has it sunk in yet?
It already did, but coming back here, it brings good memories for us. Playing with a special group, qualifying for the best league in Africa, so it's really special for me.
Coach, in July 2023, you'll be celebrating 2 years, July 2025. If you look at the journey since you joined the team, what do you think could be the key ingredient that you brought to the squad that has helped them to have such a level of the kind of trajectory that they've had so far?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take credit for it myself, but I think there's been this really unique characteristic of our players who I think they've always been kind of willing and able to honor the contributions of their teammates. So, we obviously have collected a really high level of talent, one that allowed us to go undefeated in our local league last year. But all along the way, say like from the first guy on the roster down to like 16, 17, 18, you could just see this culture of encouragement and blessing one another for the contributions they've been making. Yeah, I think that made for great cohesiveness.
The organization itself is run in the correct way, and that just trickles down to the players and everybody. So I think the organization itself is what matters. It's just get organized, make sure we practice good every day, and that's it. Like, just get organized and practice well.
For us, we've been taking every day at a time. Going undefeated isn't guaranteed, but it's definitely one of our goals, like our main thing. I think we're not looking at the score at the end of the day. It's always like trying, how can we get better individually from the beginning guys, like Coach said, to the last guys. So every time we sub in and out, we just want to get our best out of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously looking for guys that are high character guys, that are willing to come in and work hard. Like you said, guys that are going to be willing to encourage one another to get better. Guys who are really want to compete. But I think also at the end of the day, you're looking for guys that have a high skill level, guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. I think one of the hallmark characteristics that we've had in our local league is we shoot the ball really well. And I think in today's game, we really have to do that to create enough spacing for everything that we want to see happen.
So for the Nairobi City Thunder, they're able to take advantage of the fact that the type of defense that they were facing in the Kenya National Basketball League was inferior and weak. And they tried to use that as a way to say that, we shoot very well at the KBF. And that is so different when it comes down to BAL, because in BAL basketball, you're matching up against teams that are champions in their own right, and they have the ability to go ahead and play basketball at a better level than you. And I don't know, for some reason, the Thunder players, the fans, the organization had that confidence that they are walking in as if they've already won the BAL. And this is their first time competing. And also, the players that you're seeing there, Tyler Ongwae, Derek Ogechi, I mean, those guys have played for the national team and they stunk it up for the national team. So these guys are not supposed to get a hall pass, because looking at their continental performances, they've always underwhelmed. Somebody like Tyler Ongwae, he was playing through injury, but even before he got injured, the guy was playing like a shell of his former self. And you're going to see that moving forward, because this person did not move the needle for the Thunder. And that's the reason as to why the Thunder went ahead in the Elite 16 to sign Atermajok and Abdullahi Haruna. And one thing that the Thunder management, the coaching staff, everyone conveniently omitted was the fact that after Atermajok and Abdullahi Haruna left, there was no answer to fill in the gaps that they left. And those players who on the roster, Tyler Ongwae, Eugene Adera, Derek Ogechi, all those guys, they were supposed to fill in those spots and fill in that type of productivity, which never happened, and it never worked, and it never materialized, because the net value that these players brought into the team, especially when it comes down to the coaching staff, their statisticians, it was poor. And this is Brad Ibb's first go around, and this guy talks as if like he was so good at his job to the point where he's going to go ahead and win all the 6 games they're going to play. But boy, were they wrong, because, man, as we move forward, you're going to see how they got exposed, and it was so brutal.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to win basketball games.
Yeah.
You can win with individual play. I think we've chosen to go down a path where we try to highlight team play, and on any given night, somebody else can be the hero. I think that works for us, but you can win in a lot of different ways.
I don't think individual brilliance or on today's game will get you a win. It's more of like you gotta work as a team. Defensively, offensively, you just gotta work as a unit. And if you do that, you give yourself a chance to win.
So this is the washed version of Tyler Ongwae talking. He knows he's not a good player. I mean, the only bright spot that Tyler Ongwae had was in 2021 in the Afrobasket qualifiers, where he hit that buzzer beater. Ever since February 2021, this man's career has gone downhill, and he has never been able to recover. And that's the reason I saw he keeps advocating for team basketball every single time, because he knows that his productivity is subpar, and he's not somebody that you can rely on down the stretch. I don't think in Kenyan basketball you can build around this guy. You can't. This guy is way past his prime. He's washed, and you're going to see that moving forward.
I think we still have goals that we want to reach. Like, we haven't got to the top. We're not the best team in Africa yet. So I think reaching that pinnacle is what we were striving for. So for us, we have to be humble because, there's other teams out there that are just as hungry as we are. So for our goal to win BAL, so for us to get there, we have to be humble and continue to work.
You see the problem with the Nairobi City Thunder, they're not a humble team. They're a team that moves like they've already won it all. They move like a team that is already a BAL champion. If they've never even won any significant silverware in the continent. So yes, it's a very good goal and vision, but that will mean that they'll have to beat the continental's best. And that's one thing that they have not been able to do. Yes, you have dominated in the Kenyan National Basketball League. Yes, you dominated in the Division East, the Elite 16. But when it came to BAL, that's where it all imploded, and that's where they met teams that are actually better than them. And because they took the high road, they're not able to, humble themselves enough to learn. And they carried on the same stupidity in BAL Season 6, which you're going to go ahead and talk about.
I'd say like understanding the game, like why do you do things like set screens, like why do you shoot at this point? Playing selflessly is what I got to understand more. Of course, I used to play like that, but it took it a bit higher. And generally, I'd say just my basketball IQ, I feel like it's going a bit higher since I joined Nairobi City Thunder. So if we focus on those things, for sure we're gonna get a win.
And so apparently this guy's IQ was not high enough to understand that he needs to learn how to play defense, something that he has been struggling with for years. Yes, he's good on offense, but when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, this guy is pathetic, absolutely pathetic, to be honest. I don't even understand why he keeps saying he has a high IQ. He's only high IQ when he plays in the Kenya National Basketball League. When it came down to BAL, both Season 5 and Season 6, this guy's IQ was below average, and I don't think this guy really understood the type of competition he was getting into and the type of players he was going to go up against. So yeah, this guy got a rude awakening, and let me tell you, it was not pretty.
Yeah, of course. I think, now that we're here, we have goals to continue this run. We'd love to win the BAL. It would be amazing to do it in our first attempt. So yeah, there's a certain amount of pressure, but I think all of us as competitors, we sort of live for that. I think the challenge is to also then take that pressure and just turn it into productive activity day by day, right? I think not getting overwhelmed, but just kind of I think like Derek said, take each day as it comes and just try to keep getting better. I feel like we've got the talent in the room, so to speak, that if we do keep kind of with that mentality, will be good results, I think.
So you can see the delusional mentality was at an all-time high, and they were not understanding that reality was going to hit. And it didn't matter whether they were Kenya National Basketball League champions. It didn't matter if they won the Division East, the Elite 16. It didn't matter, because one thing that they failed to understand is they needed to understand, how do we prepare? How do we understand how to play BAL basketball the way winning should be done? And that's one thing that they failed to know. And looking at their statisticians, their coaching staff, their technical bench, no scouting was done whatsoever to be able to bring them in a position where they can be confident to utter the words that they can go ahead and win it all in BAL. Yes, we have seen teams go ahead and win it all in their first try, but looking at the Nairobi City Thunder, a team that has never won anything in the continent, moving like they can be able to go ahead and make history like that in the one fell swoop, it's not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason as to why, 4 out of the 6 championships have been won by North African teams, and 2 have been won by Sub-Saharan teams. There's a reason for that. And looking at how the Nairobi City Thunder mentally and how they were moving, the delusion was the delusion, on the level of delusion was at an all-time high. And I'm not sure if they're able to go ahead and try to take or integrate any new systems, or even change and do some tweaks in their basketball to make sure that they can be able to do anything. So that was the big challenge that, they had. It was not about the finances, but as a mentality and, knowledge thing, an experience thing that they didn't have.
I think the three teams we playing, they're all good. For them to just reach at this stage, it means they are the best in the qualifiers. So we're going to meet the best, and we just have to bring our game up.
I'd say for the local league, you'd see like right now some of the teams are getting to pay players, so it's becoming more professional here in Kenya. And as we go to the BL and hopefully we get to the finals and win it all, we will get a direct ticket to the BL. So it will be easier for Kenyan team. If you win the league, you get a direct ticket to the BL. So that's an added for all of us.
Yeah, I definitely know it's in our plans to kind of help build that pipeline, and there's already a scaffolding there that's in the country, but I think we'd love to be contributing and influencing it as we go. And like I said, I think a big part of that is just getting things ramped up earlier, and a lot of this is just, I think all these guys would tell you, I think probably they developed more just by the fact that they were playing a lot. Even more than any, like, say, specific coaching that they received or specific opportunity, but it's just by virtue of just playing a lot of basketball. I think that's how but just starting at a pretty young age, that's how you get good. Of course, you need good instruction, you need good influences as you grow, but a lot of it is just about getting the opportunities to have a lot of reps. Yeah.
I mean, like, people who watch basketball, they already know me, so they say, like, they say hi to me, and it feels good, like, people know you. But then again, like, there's these guys who don't know you yet, so we're trying to make them understand the game of basketball in Kenya, and yeah, so it's really special for me.
Yeah, I think we just kind of stick with our process, identifying what we're good at and trying to enhance that, trying to shore up our weaknesses, trying to make sure that when we come into the gym every day, we take it seriously. We often talk about, no matter who our opponent is, we treat them with humility because we do have that target under our back, and we're always going to get our opponent's best. And so, we don't want to take days off, especially in competition.
Man, the delusion is real. The delusion is something that I've seen when I was making this video, because this guy actually thinks, he honestly thinks that there are teams out there, like at the time, the teams that are out there, APR, Al Tripoli, and MBB, were worried about facing the Nairobi City Thunder. Let me say this. The Nairobi City Thunder were the weakest team in the Nile Conference. Out of the 4 teams, the Nairobi City Thunder were the weakest team, and all the other teams, MBB, Al Tripoli, and APR, are looking at the Nairobi City Thunder as an easy win. So when this guy comes here at the time, it's good for media to try to, like, talk up your team. But the reality is, sometimes you have to be able to understand that there are teams that are way better than you. There are teams that are way financed than you. They have more finances. They have the ability to go ahead and sign players. And looking fast forward to even the actual tournament, you're seeing that they lost significant depth on their roster. And those quality players that they helped them, that helped them go ahead and qualify for BAL, were no longer there. So they were so exposed. It's like you're being guided to a path, and when you reach that path and you have to go alone, they didn't know how to do it. So the Thunder tried to wing it, and they found out the hard way that this thing ain't sweet. And you're seeing, like, the delusion that these players had. They thought that they were, just because they are the best here and they are praised here by the home fans. When they went to Kigali, all the tables turned, and all the whole court just became slippery for them, and they're not able to do anything to be able to get a win easily. And the wins came in late, and it was difficult.
I know, but as coach has said, it's just to come every day and focus more on ourselves, and just enjoy the process, and just make sure we get better each and every day. Don't focus on the outside, just focus on ourselves.
So in the Thunder's quest to focus internally, just like Tailangwai said, they failed to do that, and that's the reason as to why they went 105. And it was so pathetic to see, this team just implode like that with all the hype that they have been able to create for themselves and generate for themselves. It just came in and imploded, and it collapsed like a house of cards.
Yeah. Coach? So actually my first love is baseball. Okay. It's what I competed at the highest level. So if I do something other than basketball, it's baseball.
You've been doing baseball. Okay.
And he just had it from the head coach of the Nairobi City Thunder. This guy, the sport that he's played in the professional level is baseball, not even basketball. And this is the guy who's supposed to draw systems and strategies to win basketball games. No wonder the Thunder lost. No wonder the Thunder went 1-5. Then you act surprised when the Thunder lose games. This guy does not know what he's doing. And I even called for his sacking after BAL Season 5, and also BAL Season 6. So that's the interview that they did with NTV. Now, as the days kept getting closer to BAL Season 5, the Nairobi City Thunder held a presser. They talked about a few things that they were going to do or change with reference to their participation and representation of BAL. The Nairobi City Thunder were not going to go ahead there and compete. They're just going to go there to represent Kenya. That's it. They didn't care about winning basketball. They only cared about, let's just be there. Let's just look like we are playing basketball, but let's just look like we are playing basketball, but we are just there to elevate their brand and just participate. That is the whole energy of this whole presser that you're going to hear. So I'll be dropping my commentary similar to what I've been doing throughout the video. So let's get into it.
It's about to get prepared for practice for BAL, and thank you all for coming. We'll be ready and make the country proud of us and try to do the best that we can. And we want all the support from Kenya to come and support us in Kigali. If you can't, then just make sure that you watch the streamline and YouTube. Any questions that we can start?
So you can see these people do not care about, going ahead and competing for a BAL title or even making it to the playoffs. They didn't care about that. They only cared about, can we be able to elevate our brand? That is what this presser communicated to me.
I think for me personally, the experience I've been able to gain is a benefit to the team, especially because I'm the point guard. So obviously the point guard, I don't know how many people are familiar with American football, but it's almost like the quarterback. So we have a lot of great players that are smart and can make decisions, but I think I might have to be able to make the most amount of decisions. So that experience of being in close games, being in big games, in loud environments, and still being able to remain calm, keep guys focused, I think that brings a lot of an advantage to our team for sure. So I think it'll definitely lead to some beneficial results for us in the BAL. Chemistry is great, and that's not an automatic thing for a team. Sometimes you can bring in, when you're shuffling players a bit, you have your import guys, you might have some of the local guys, and when things are moving this fast,
So to be honest, you see, was the main bright spot for the Thunder's offense, because this guy knew how to play the point guard position. Remember, this guy played for SLAC in BAL Season 3. So this guy had the upper hand, especially when it came down to the point guard position and helping the Nairobi City Thunder orchestrate the offense at this level. So, of course, the Thunder had their own point guards there, but this guy was so vital, and his input is so important, and it was so important at the time. And looking at the Nairobi City Thunder, you could see their body language, their chemistry. They just looked like they knew what was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time for the true things to just show themselves.
To make sure I understood basically how has scouting gone of our opponents? How do we feel like our lineups stack up against theirs? Yeah, I think I would say this: any of the groups at this point in this competition, it's going to be really good competition, right? All these teams are well prepared. All these teams are well stocked with talent. To answer your question, yes, we've been doing our own homework. We've even hired someone specifically for the purposes of scouting. So that's been a great benefit, and I think will continue to be throughout the tournament. And I guess I think one of our like approaches, you might say, is like, yes, we are interested and concerned about our opponents, but even more so, it's like we just want to be as good as we can be, and we feel like we've got a great team. We feel like we've got a really talented team. I think we've put nearly a month of really great work in. I think day by day.
So what this revealed is the Thunder did not do any scouting. They did not check out what APR, MBB, and Al Ahly Tripoli were doing, and they were basically winging it, looking like, we are the best team. We are too big to look at all these other teams. And this one just revealed itself here in this presser, because you could see Brad Gibbs, he knows that the Thunder did not do any scouting. He knows that the Nairobi City Thunder were going to fail in BAL Season 5, and is going to label it as, it's our first time being there, we're just glad to be there. That is the whole narrative that the Nairobi City Thunder team were going to run with. They knew that they had no chance at qualifying for the postseason. They had no chance at even winning anything, because they went 1 of 5. Then the second worst team in BAL. And you can even see the way, even the approach, even answering the question, you could see he was kind of like, sifting through his mind, like, oh, look, focusing on other lineups and how it stacks up to us. You could see there was a disconnect, and that ending line of like, okay, we're just focusing internally. That was the main reason as to why they failed, because they did not look at what their competitors were doing. They didn't look at all these other rosters, all these other transactions were happening, and the Thunder were just staying put with nothing. They brought in Evans Ganapamo, who stank it up, and they brought in Will Davis, who was getting loaded up on offense and defense. He was virtually unplayable. So it was just a pathetic situation, looking at how the coach just has a mentality like that. Even the organization knew they don't care about qualifying. They only care about elevating their brand, and that's just about it.
Situations like those will happen, but for us, it's just anybody can have a good night any particular day. So for us, it's not to only focus on what I can do on a particular time, but just how can we do as a team. So I think that's it. It's good. The players are working hard. The staff is working hard, and every day we are competing because we know where we are going. We are going to meet better teams, but I think we also can compete with them. And coaches are doing a good job of preparing us for next week. So I think we are doing good, and we are working hard to represent Kenya.
Finally, one of the teams to beat in the road.
We feel good about ourselves, but also for us the most important thing is only to work on ourselves. So we're only focusing on ourselves. We really don't.
The guys that we've brought in, you see the kind of the effort and intentionality that we have in terms of our preparation. We are going to make a statement. We would love to go 6-0 in conference play and advance to South Africa on a high note. So yeah, we're going to win. And maybe one of the advantages of playing in the last conference is that we haven't had to make such an immediate turnaround. There's been a little bit of time for us to kind of gather ourselves, prepare ourselves, and even our training camp has. It's not that it's been too long, but it's not been too short either. So I think we're getting to that point now where we really want to go and compete. I almost don't really want to answer that on a personal level. Obviously, it means a lot to me personally, but I think everybody here on stage, we actually represent even many more people, and I think
heading into the BAL, it's definitely a unique experience, being that this is the first time that I'm working with a men's Premier League team at this level, and what Thunder has achieved this far has been great. And even just being a female in this space, I credit the coaches that I work with and even just the management for just creating that environment for me to be able to just perform and do what I do, on the court, working with the players, and also just the professionalism that is there with our players, especially who I spend so much time with. It's just more focused on what we can get to do together on the court and just elevate both the individual play and just the club as a general. So yeah, it's been a great experience altogether.
And there you have it. So that's your Nairobi City Thunder that was preparing for BAL 5 at the time. So when I watched this presser, I just knew things had gone downhill. So they lost key pieces of the roster, and the coaching staff was inexperienced. They had nothing they could offer. There's nothing that the Thunder coaching staff could offer. They lied about scouting. They lied about everything that pertains to BAL, and everything revealed itself on the court. And one thing that basketball teaches you is that the ball does not lie. Whatever they said that they did revealed itself on the basketball court, and things did not even things did not take too long, because right off tip off in the first game, you saw how dominated they were, especially in those guys who were watching the watch parties. It was so bad to the point where, like, I was even clicking off the fourth quarters because it was a no contest. The Thunder were getting hammered in there. They were getting clapped slow systematically. It was just systematic takedowns all through. And in the next series of videos, you're going to look at like the post-game pressers that they had at the time. So yeah, things just went downhill for the Thunder fast. The management knew it. The coaching staff knew it. The players knew it. They knew they were just going there to participate, and that was it.
Obviously, I think we were a little bit out of character today. I think especially offensively, the ball was really sticking. I think we'd like, to move a little bit more players to touch it. And yeah, I think that led to some easy defensive possessions for them. They got some rebounds, and then they could run on us, I think, a lot more than we wanted to. So I think we'd like to play a little bit better team basketball tomorrow. I think early, I think in the first half, I think we actually really liked the shots that we were getting. We had a lot of good looks, 4 good shooters, and we didn't make shots. That happens, right? And I think as the game went on, we got to a lineup in the third quarter that got the game to within 6, maybe even 5. And then there was a couple of big momentum shifting plays. I think if maybe we could have made a couple more plays during that time, I think it becomes a different game in the fourth quarter. But credit to those guys. They didn't let up. They made all the right plays. They made shots. And it was a tough one for us.
I know it's been a tough loss, but we got to bounce back tomorrow. If you look at the stats here, everything was almost the same. The only difference is like we shot the ball really bad, and that can happen. So we just have to redeem ourselves, talk to each other, encourage each other, and come back tomorrow very strong. What I'll say is something that we have to work on. Whether things are going right or they are going wrong, we have to stick together. If we're down by 10 points, up by 10 points, we have to keep on communicating and be your teammate partner. And I think everything will be fine.
Yeah, to our fans, I'd say, stay with us. I think you could see for long stretches in this basketball game against a very good team, we were going toe to toe. I think we had a couple of bad stretches. We had some foul trouble issues early that put us in a difficult place. I think this game could have gone differently. And I think, as you see for the next 5 games in our tournament, I hope we'll play better. Changes, I think we just, we need to keep to our principles. I think we did for long stretches, but then we would also get out of character. You can't do that against a really good team. You see what they do to you when that happens. About the issue about the shots, we have great shooters on this team. We had great shooters who missed shots tonight. They're going to shoot it tomorrow, and we have full confidence that they'll make shots tomorrow.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
The Nairobi Thunder got dealt a loss in the worst way possible in the first game. And there are people who even went to the watch party and watched this game live. And to be honest, they were so disappointed because looking at how the Thunder got systematically taken down, you could see the APR team knew how to clap the Thunder, and they clapped the Thunder pretty hard. And the Thunder did not have any answer to anything that, APR was throwing at them. And this was something that I expected because the whole situation with the unbeaten, we have the unbeaten streak. Everyone, especially who was supporting the Thunder, was saying, the Thunder can even go 6-0. They were all quiet. And one thing that I saw was the Thunder fans are fake. And I can even say this on record, that the Thunder fans only support the team when they win, but never support the team when they lose. And even the people who really like, sharing the scores, they never share this score for the game because it was so embarrassing. It was a blowout. APR had the upper hand the whole game. And the Thunder basically could not do even basic plays they couldn't be able to do. And one thing that was evident was the Thunder never had to play defense, especially against elite talent. They never knew how to defend that because every single time, especially in the Kenya National Basketball League, the teams that the Thunder played were very inferior. I'm not throwing shade at even the teams that played in the Elite 16, but if you look at the type of quality that was there vis-a-vis what is there in BAL, you could see there's a big difference. And the thing that gave, Thunder fans, the Thunder conglomerate, like the confidence that they can be able to go ahead and dominate was the 5-0 in the Elite 16. That 5-0 record in the Elite 16 meant nothing when it came to the actual BAL games because APR got a direct ticket and they already played like BAL in different years. Albeit they didn't have successful seasons, but they had a successful game in this one. And you can see there's a lack of accountability and taking the high road, which I took exception to at the time and even made multiple videos talking about it. So the Thunder management, the coaching, the coaches, the players never wanted to take accountability to this loss and say, hey, look, I would have even given them much more grace when they said, we didn't have a good game in there. We're going to do better in the next game. But if you look at the mentality and even the attitude that these people had, you could see these people really did not care about the outcome. They are like, let's just finish this game and just go on. So game 2 was equally as embarrassing because versus Al Ahly Tripoli, things just went downhill into a similar blowout. And Al Ahly Tripoli were just basically toying with the Thunder. So let's just hear what the coach and the Nairobi City Thunder was saying after that brutalization that they suffered at the hands of the Al Ahly Tripoli.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. I think sometimes it's effort. Sometimes I think it's attention to details. Credit to the team we played today. They also hit a lot of shots. But I think we're going to go watch game film and diagnose things, and hopefully we have a good practice tomorrow and turn the ship around in the right direction.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I think obviously, as you've seen over 2 days, our consistency hasn't been there, not the way that we would like it to be. So I think that's something we'll preach tomorrow. Is just like we have to really stay consistent, play every possession to our Thunder standards, and really hope that will help to turn things around. I think sometimes teams go on a little bit of a run, and things seem to sometimes snowball from there. We have to be able to, kind of course correct more quickly. Obviously, we're experiencing that we can't make little mistakes, right? Just like you said, they get punished. So I think we played in rotation a lot today. We gave up small advantages, and Al Ahly did a great job of turning those into bigger advantages. And then they also really made shots. So that's tough. We better, I think. Taking away some of those initial advantages, play with a little bit more aggression. Our communication needs to be better. Contesting shots with hands up. And then I think as we started chipping into the lead tonight, I think we gave up some offensive rebounds that were kind of backbreaking. I think had we gotten some of those and maybe come down and still played like solid offensive possessions, like I think we had been at that time, I think maybe we could have swung the momentum and made it a much different game.
Can you please switch on the mic? Yes.
I think we just gotta stay connected. We have a couple more games to go, and that's what we're focusing on right now. So that's what we're going to do. We'll watch the film and get better.
Yeah, I think just in general, I think we're hoping to get better advantages out of our offensive actions and sort of the plays that come after the initial action. I think that's something that we'll focus on. So I think that will hopefully help Uchenna, but I think it'll hopefully help everyone, right? I think we just need to generate higher quality shots, and we like I think like you said, or like people have noticed, we were able to do it in stretches. We can obviously be a very impressive basketball team, but I think we need to keep it consistent for 40 minutes over our next 4 games.
I don't think anything changes. We still want to make it to the playoffs, so we just gotta stay locked in because that's our goal, and we aim for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, we think we need to go watch the film. I think we need to get on court with guys tomorrow. We've got great players in our locker room, so I think there's also just a hope that we can kind of flip a switch and get guys playing together and to the level of their capability. Because I think if we do that, we still have a lot of confidence.
So this is the second straight game and the second straight loss in an embarrassing way, and the Thunder still, lack of accountability was the main thing that was seen, especially when it came down to this presser. And it was just a lot of excuse making, saying that, we're going to go back and look at film, being so nonchalant at it, and still having the hope and belief that they are going to still go ahead and qualify for the playoffs. And they were in for a rude shock, because looking at these games, you could see the Thunder did not take any keenness in these games, because if they understood that the point differential works when you have a tie record, or you need to take every single game seriously, these losses will be, will be so small, the margins will be so small, and we'll be able to try to see, can we be able to dominate and win? So the Thunder, they had a talent and quality issue, because they had a deep roster, but when it came down to the signings that they brought in, Evans Ganapamo was useless, Will Davis was useless, and all the other Thunder players were useless, all of them. And if you look at even a guy like Eugene Adera, I picked this guy as the next gen point guard, but to be honest, this guy cannot do anything for a team. I was even on record, I said, this guy can be the guy that the team needs to build around. Any team at the point guard position, they need to get this guy. But looking at these games, looking at even this BAL season 5, even looking at BAL season 6, this guy was the common denominator in the Thunder's stagnant offense. And to be honest, the lack of, awareness and accountability was puzzling, especially when it came to the Thunder. They just took the high road in every single game, and you're going to see it even in the game that they lost. I almost said that they won, but they lost. It was a nail biter. The MBB team hit a buzzer beater courtesy of Robinson Opong, and it was such a sad way for the game to end. So let's just hear what the Thunder had to say when they suffered the third straight loss in BAL season 5.
Yeah, I think after we got the big lead, I think we got out of character. We stopped doing, I think, stop playing, especially defensively. I think we stopped playing according to our principles. You could see a lot of reaching. We were getting a lot of silly fouls, and I think that just kind of swung the momentum of the game in their favor. I mean, a few times we got hurt on free throw box outs. So I think it was just a matter of just making the right kind of simple, disciplined basketball plays down the stretch that hurt us. Yeah, I think offensively, I think one of the things that we did really well in the first half was getting into the paint and then playing from there. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but our percentages of paint touches per possession were really high. And then second half, we struggled. I mean, obviously they were down 18, playing with a little bit more desperation. I think credit to them. I think they defended us a little bit better. But I think we also, like you said, settled for a lot of kind of perimeter-oriented basketball when it was time to really try to get to the basket. It wasn't, It wasn't something intentional. Certainly wasn't a strategy, but I think we just kind of failed to execute on that.
Okay. Well, today, it was a game that was very important for us. So, I thought I played the same way. It's just today my shot went in. I don't think I played any differently the past 2 games. I think we played better as a team. We had more energy today, and we have to try to muster up some more energy and finish the competition. Coach?
Yeah, despite the mistakes that we were talking about down the stretch and just kind of being out of character, I think for me, this game it finally felt like we gelled together as a team. Our bench was really united. Guys were really pulling for each other. Like Evan said, the energy was great, and really overall, I was really proud of our guys. And it was really fun to coach them tonight. And I want to just kind of keep reiterating that message to them. These guys are pros; they want to win, and so I think we're also not out of it. So we've got 3 games left, and we'll just kind of take it one game at a time. Yeah, obviously Prinsloo had a great night. He was a tough cover tonight. To be honest, I think more disappointed early on that we gave him some wide open threes. I think that helped him to get going, and we didn't send bodies to chase him off. The post ups late, I think, it was he did a great job. I think he obviously made them a lot. Like we lived with it. I don't know if you noticed, we started fronting him the last couple minutes, and I think that was successful for us. I think we even got a turnover, and in terms of offensively, I think we weren't as organized as we wanted to be. There was stuff that was called, plays that were called, hopefully to get us into the paint and for our guys to play together. And I think we just didn't do a great job of execution on that.
I think today was our best game as a team. Like I said before, we had a lot of energy. We came in with the goal to win the game. And, taking from that, we just have to try to do the same thing at a higher level and clean up the mistakes that we had. And, like I said, finish the competition with our heads high.
Yeah, I think everybody who watched saw improvement with us, right? Just in terms of our cohesiveness. I think guys were happy to play for each other. So could we have done better? Yeah, obviously, of course. I think we made, like I said earlier, I think we made a lot of simple mistakes, and if we clean those up, we win that basketball game. But we have 3 more. I think our goal will just be to continue to get better every game, and hopefully that will result in some victories.
So for the Nairobi City Thunder, at this point, I knew they were out of BAL playoff contention, because with them going down 0-3, that would mean that for them to qualify, they had to win 3 straight. And to be honest, I expected this. This was something that I saw coming, because looking at how pathetic the Thunder have been on the defensive side of the ball, you could see Robinson Opong was able to hit that corner 3 with ease. And, it was a simple thing that the MBB team needed to do to go ahead and win it. And the most heartbreaking thing was this game was decided by 1 point. And the Thunder have never been able to play when they are, when the games are this close. And that's one thing that I noticed, even all the way from even the time they played Uronani, you could see poor execution late game led to them losing the game. And this was no different. So the first 2 games were utter blowouts. And you could see both APR and Al Ahly Tripoli, they were the strongest teams that the Thunder ever faced in their whole career, this version of the Thunder. And MBB looked like the most beatable team, because if you notice, MBB, they are a team that the Thunder already beat in the road to BAL in the Elite 16. So the Thunder did not take even take too much seriousness when it came to MBB. And the MBB team, with their new additions, they had Peter Prinsloo there. At that point in time, they had Tefalena Jr., who was dropping dunks, insane dunks during the game. You could see, and also Robinson Opong was there. So you could see the MBB team were much more stronger than they were prior, and the Thunder did not have any form of strategy whatsoever late in the game. Yes, this game, it was a winnable game for the Thunder, but late game defense and execution was the Thunder's Achilles heel, because they've never had to play a team that has been neck and neck with them, and that's the reason as to why they lost. So with that, you could see the Thunder going 0-3. You will have expected that the Thunder will try to see if they can be able to learn from the mistakes prior, because they already played the Al Ahly Tripoli, but in the next game that they played, it was against Al Ahly Tripoli, and the result was no different, and they lost this game. So let's just hear what the Thunder had to say after they suffered their 4th straight loss. And 2 losses at the hands of the Al Ahly Tripoli team. So let's just hear what the coach had to say about this.
Yeah, the game for me today, obviously these are not the way we want to end games, right? We're 0-4 now. I think the locker room message at the end of the game was, I was really happy kind of how we stood up. We didn't back down. I think you saw our game against them the first time around, and they had sort of a sizable lead in the second half. And unfortunately in that scenario, we kind of rolled over and we kind of let them just steamroll us. And today I felt like we didn't do that. Like we kept a real fighting spirit all the way to the end. Yeah, and guys really, I felt like we stayed together as a team. Guys played well, and you could see we kept fighting in the margin of the lead. It went down, and I think I kind of wanted our guys to leave with that. Albert Odero, Al played a great game today. I think he really competed hard. He obviously scored some points for us. He got some great transition baskets. Al's a great offensive player, and I think we used him for that today. And yeah, a lot of our guys, I think, really competed.
To start with your first question about the press, I think that's just, basketball strategy in the fourth quarter when it's a close game, to try and put some pressure on the other team, hopefully try and force some turnovers, eat up some of the shot clock to force them to take a bad shot. So that's something that we practice. We just keep it, and every team usually does, in the back pocket, a press to kind of heat the game up. So being that the game was close and the time was kind of winding down, it just made sense for us to kind of try and, change things up with our press.
I actually thought, in general, I thought our transition game was a little bit better today, especially against them. We always, I think, would still like to play faster in transition, especially in primary break, but I didn't think it was too bad tonight. And about our half-court sets, I think there's some pace that's lacking. I think there's some principles like we'd really love to be kind of like repeated, and it's felt like a struggle. Like we'll do it in moments, but we tend not to stick with it, and like our execution level hasn't been really high. So yeah, there's work to be done there. Yeah, if I had to try to put my finger on it, I think just the overall ingredient, I think we're still, like, there's a little bit of cohesiveness that we've lacked. I think we see it in moments. I think you saw it tonight in moments, but I think as we work with different lineup combinations, we find it lacking sometimes. And unfortunately, sometimes those, when we get down in those scenarios, it sometimes can be hard to come back on, especially with playing against really good teams. I think obviously we had a really closely contested game against MBB the last time we played them. Felt like we should have won that game. We made some mistakes in the second half. So I think we want to make history. We want to be the first Kenyan club to win a game in the BAL. So I think that's our goal for the weekend. And I think just to kind of continue to improve, continue to stay together. Overall, I think our guys are still really committed to each other, which is great, because and that can be tough to do, going down 0-4, and I think losing in a really heartbreaking way in our third game. So credit to the guys. I think in the leaders in the locker room. Overall, we're really together, and I think we want to play with a lot of pride in these last 2 games and really try to win one.
At this point, the Nairobi City Thunder they are down 0-4. They were yet to win a single game, and the morale was at an all-time low. But one thing that they kept saying was, looking at the scores, you can see there's improvement. But basketball don't measure improvement when you can't win a basketball game, because the most important thing was to make sure to win a basketball game, which they couldn't do. So this was a sad situation for the Thunder, and looking at how they managed to squander their postseason, their postseason objective, especially when it came down to making sure that they needed to go ahead and qualify. They couldn't, and I can say this was the game that hit the final nail in the coffin to make sure that they're out of the postseason. It didn't matter what they were going to do, because they are out in the point differential. They were not even able to win a single game at this point. But looking at the Thunder, they are still taking the high road. They're still making excuses. They're still looking at the the possibility of still qualifying. Even though there are a couple of fans who are so delusional, and they said, we're gonna go ahead and qualify. This is our year. We can still do it. So this was it was a puzzling thing. Even at the time when I was making my videos, I really talked about how the Thunder really did not care about looking at winning basketball, and came to statistically they were off. They didn't have the rhythm. Even the things that didn't appear even in the box score, they didn't have. Poor chemistry all around. Evans Ganapamo was literally unplayable. And there's this over-reliance of the imports, which led them to fail. And the Thunder really understood that they made a mistake, and they got it wrong with the players that they brought in when they stuck to the original roster in the 5th game versus MBB, which they were able to win. So let's hear how their approach to like the post-game presser and their approach to talking about a win vis-a-vis how they lost. So in the 5th game versus MBB, they won. So let's hear what Coach Brad Abbs had to say about the win in this one. And if you've noticed, in the 2 games that the Thunder lost, they did not put a Kenyan player there. They put Evans Ganapamo, and this one they put UC. So in these games that they won, you can see that they put a Kenyan player there. And that's something that I noticed. But hey, let's just hear what they had to say about their win in the 5th game, in their first ever win in the BAL tournament, which took 5 games to go ahead and achieve, which was sad. So let's just take a listen.
Yeah, I think this win was massively important for us. I think we really, after a kind of an unfortunate start, not the start that we wanted, we really wanted to make sure that we left here with a victory to represent Kenya. I think you saw that sort of reflected in our starting lineup today. We had our starting lineup from our local league, and I think they set the pace, they set the tone. I think we really represented ourselves as Thunder basketball in the kind of connectedness, togetherness that we love to play with, but haven't shown, I think, in quite the way that we wanted to. So it was really great to get the first one. I think it sort of felt like a weight taken off of our backs, and I think we're going to be excited to compete tomorrow in our last game.
Questions?
Yeah, I think it was really important. I think, like I said earlier, I think it just felt like we hadn't represented ourselves in the way that we're accustomed to, in the way that we wanted to. And I think those guys in particular really wanted this tonight. They really wanted to show who we are as a club, and I'm really proud of the way they came out and did that. It was really the start that we needed. Obviously, we got some contributions from other guys as well. Johan had great minutes. UC off the bench had really starter minutes and played like the stellar player that he is. Yeah, I think in terms of our fans, it was really special. Like, so many of us were gathered last night. They really came out in big numbers. It like brought me to tears at the end when we were just like, they were just cheering us on as we walked off the court, and just like such a great representation of Kenyan basketball fandom and their support of us. So just we love it. We're so appreciative, and we can't wait to do more for you. And to Johan, I mean, yeah, wow, what can you say? 17, 18 years old, right? Coming off the bench in such a huge game and crucial moments, and I think you guys have seen like all tournament, he's really played well. Special.
For tomorrow's game, I'd say just go back to the film, see what we did well, see what we didn't do right, and focus on what we did well. So tomorrow we're just gonna focus on our sets, and it's a different game, but still basketball. So just take this win for ourselves, and appreciate it, and then prepare for the next one. We still have one game.
So after the Thunder won in Game 5, in the last game, and it ended in heartbreaking fashion, similar to what happened in the game versus MBB, where they lost by a single point. This one they lost by 3 points, and it was a sad way to finish off the tournament, because right now, looking at how they went ahead and played, it was a game that they could have been able to win. And one thing I noticed was the team needed time to be able to go ahead and set into the contest, because the first 3 games really exposed the flaws of the Thunder. But if you look at the latter 3 games, you can see the Thunder were trying, and they tried to make the games close, but it's only one game that they were able to win. And it also exposed a lot of flaws in the Thunder system. And in the last one, APR were able to finish at a high, and the APR team were able to finish number 3 in the whole BAL contest, and Al Ahly Tripoli went on to the playoffs to win it all, and they were crowned champions of BAL Season 5. So looking at the Nairobi City Thunder, this was the worst they have ever looked. I mean, this whole campaign was the poorest, and you could see that the Thunder still took the high road, and they still did not want to accept any accountability on how they played. They even called for the sacking of like the whole technical bench of the coaching staff, because they clearly showed how technically inept they were. And it's unfortunate that these people still get contracts and still get jobs. And one thing that I noticed was every single time I made a video talking about the Thunder, you could see people are saying, hey, look, why are you just focusing on the problems? Why can't you tell us the solutions? Why can't you tell us how the Thunder can be able to go ahead and fix it? Number one, I'm not under the Thunder's payroll. And if they want an honest analysis on how to be able to fix the team, they book a consultation like anybody else. That's the only way I can help them. So with this whole situation where people look to me to like offer a solution, I cannot offer you a solution for free. They have people who are paid to think. They have a technical bench. They have a coaching staff to be able to think of ways to win basketball games. And they're just stupid and inept, and they cannot even think of ways to be able to go ahead and do it. So this one, it really made me have a huge turning point with the Thunder. And ever since this point where they got brutalized in BAL, I changed my tune to the Thunder, because looking at prior to the Thunder participating in BAL, you could see I was really looking at this team, and I thought that maybe this team could be able to do it. I didn't fall into their trap of like being a fan in a way that it really hurt my credibility. But I was giving them a nod because I felt like for the longest time there was no team in Kenyan basketball history that could be able to go ahead and do something in the continent. But looking at how they played, it was pathetic. And ever since, I've always made it my job to make sure to tell people as it is. And as for the Thunder, I mean, the story was no different in BAL Season 6, which I'm going to go ahead and look at shortly. And we're going to go ahead and have a laugh at the opinions and premises that they had prior to BAL Season 6, because they thought that BAL Season 5 outcome will not replicate itself in BAL Season 6, but the story was the same, everything was the same, and they continued to underwhelm. And this one, the window was so short, and they didn't have ample time to go ahead and prepare like the way they had in BAL Season 5. BAL Season 5, the Thunder had 5.5 months to prepare, but they chose to sleep on the wheel and prepare last minute, and that's the reason as to why they lost. And they couldn't be able to even, do anything significant, even after 2 conferences already tipped off. And in this BAL Season 6, which I'm going to look at shortly, we're going to see the Thunder not having enough time to prepare, and them not caring at all, and also running on with the same mentality of, it's our fault. They're trying to see if there are excuses that they made in BAL Season 5, you're still going to use them in BAL Season 6. So yeah, it was a pathetic thing all around. So let's hear what Brad Ames have to say when it came down to the final game where they lost in heartbreaking fashion to the APR team. So this was the 6th game in BAL Season 5. So let's take a listen before I give my closing thoughts before we move on to BAL Season 6. So let's just hear what the man had to say. And also Alberto Dero was there in the post-game presser, which was insane to see how these people just do not take any accountability as far. So yeah,
I think one of the main things I'll take away from this maybe first and most important is that we belong here. I think we showed that. I think a couple of our early games, we really didn't, I think, kind of demonstrate the character that we're used to, the style of play that we're used to. But, a lot of our post-game talk was basically just affirming the guys that as the tournament went on, games 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think you got to see Thunder basketball and the heart and the character of the athletes that we have in our locker room. I think another key takeaway is, we lost 2 heartbreaking games. We lost 2 big leads in each of those games, and I think a lot of it just came down to little things that I think we'd like to just be better at. And when we have a 18-point lead or a 15-point lead, that we really do what it takes to grind out and win those games.
It's a good, I've been waiting 5 years to get into the BAL. So it's a good feeling to finally be here. The atmosphere is amazing. The competition level is amazing. It's just an overall good feeling. The only thing I wish is we got more wins, but like Coach said, we got better game by game. Those first 3 games weren't us, and we were able to turn it around. We just look forward to getting back here and competing again.
I'll start. Yeah, as a first-time entrant for us, I think there was a little bit of jitters at first. I think that's why maybe the bright lights and we didn't play our best. We didn't play to the character that we're used to. But I think you saw, especially as the tournament went on, like our defensive identity, and so I think we'll continue to lean into that. We love to be kind of like that fierce, aggressive defensive team. And I think, like I said previously too, like just little mistakes. Like we want to just heighten the level of professionalism of our basketball. And that's like obviously like in practices, but throughout the whole organization, we're just trying to take those steps.
For me, just go back, watch film, look at what we could get better as a team and individually, and just, yeah. That's it.
What it's like for me is it just makes me super proud of the work that we're doing. We've been together now almost 2 years. Great things have been happening in Kenya. I think we've built a really fearsome group. I think they really love and are committed to one another. And do I wish I would have started with them earlier? Yeah, maybe so. I just think I think sometimes when you have a group that's only together for a short time, maybe it's not a matter of whether they're good players or not, but it's just like that cohesion. And I think you saw from game 3, like really we're able to play more to the nature and the style that we like. And I think the competitive level was really high. I think these guys were really eager to show themselves on the stage, and I think they did an amazing job doing that. So I'm just really proud of each and every one of them. Well, I think I probably need to clarify first. I wasn't actually satisfied with our performance. Right? I think we showed we belong. I think, but I think everyone in our locker room knows if we just took care of some simple mistakes, we probably are advancing. We probably have 3 wins in this tournament. So I think, just in terms of inspiration, I think we've got a great fan base, and the numbers grow each and every day in Nairobi and in Kenya, and hopefully even regionally. And I think just us being able to show ourselves on this stage, I think I hope we just continue to inspire more great basketball in East Africa.
So the truth is, the Nairobi City Thunder do not belong in the BAL stage if they continue to play the same way they play in the Kenya National Basketball League in KBF. They can never achieve anything significant if they carry on with the same mentality. Because if you look at it closely, I went ahead and went into depth when I was watching the games and as they happened at the time. And one thing I have noticed is there's that level of lack of accountability and unawareness and delusion that these people have. The delusions of grandeur are just evident because the coach, Brad Gibbs, he came out and said, if we took care of simple mistakes. But if you see this thing in depth, you'll see that the Nairobi City Thunder never had to play defense the way they had to play defense in these games. And they never had to be efficient on offense when they played in the Kenya National Basketball League. when they play domestically, a lot of things get masked. A lot of things that they do get swept under the rug, especially when it comes down to failing to set in the failure to have good half-court sets, the failure to understand that every single possession counts, because the Thunder are used to playing teams that they can make mistakes and get away with it. Now, in the biggest stage in basketball in Africa, you could see in the Basketball Africa League, there's zero room to make any mistakes, and every single mistakes get punished brutally, and that's the thing that was evident and was seen, and the Nairobi City Thunder did not understand this, and that's the reason as to why they lost games. And one thing I can even say for sure is the Nairobi City Thunder, the delusional mentality, their inability to introspect and understand what went wrong is the reason as to why they failed also in BAL Season 6. And the same mistakes that they had in BAL Season 5, they carried them over to BAL Season 6. They did not understand how to construct the roster properly. The players that stunk it up in BAL Season 5 did not improve. Tyler Ongwa did not improve. Eugene Adair did not improve. Albert Adair was injured. He didn't even play in he didn't even have significant playing time for the Nairobi City Thunder, and he only played 1.5 games for the Thunder in BAL Season 6. And he left for the Tigers, came back, which was an L move, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about. And even in the next video that I'm going to make, I saw this video is going to get too long, so I'm going to split it into 2 parts. So this one was long because I talked about their whole journey from 2024 all the way to 2025, including Road to BAL and the BAL Season 5, and it all came full circle to see how the metamorphosis of this team vis-a-vis where they're gonna go ahead and head. So yeah, it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. The next video will be a banger because I will go ahead and talk about every single thing that they did, and I'll also make sure it's much more detailed similar to this, and also I also make videos, put videos together in a way that you can be able to chronologically follow the accounts, because if you watched from the start, you could see from the beginning, you could see where it all started and where it's headed. And right now as we speak, things are not looking good for the Thunder, and they just keep making L moves as time moves forward. So like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. It will be here on NBAKenya, as you can see from the branding. The videos will be live here, so stay tuned to that. And I'm out. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.